2 years ago, I said do not buy this game. Since then, a free DLC update has added bosses and supposedly has fixed the gameplay. So I'm going to 200% Enchanted Portals by 100%ing Insane Mode along with the DLC. Right off the bat, I noticed the enemies are dying faster compared to what Insane Mode was like previously. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but the input lag is actually gone. The game is playable. Well, almost. It still feels very slippery, which is annoying, but you can at least get used to it now. Plus, they've actually fixed how many bad guys can come on screen at once. Before, there was just no cap to how many could flood the area. I'm all for tough difficulty. It just needs to be balanced.
This whole thing should be.
The more I play, the more fun I'm having. Oh my gosh, so far the game isn't bad anymore.
Keep playing.
Alright, true. It's still early. And what happened to the poof sounds when foes die? This is what it used to sound like. They somehow made it even more soulless than it was. Oh, forgot to mention, Insane Mode doesn't drop any hearts either. Well, I've made it this far, and it's time for the first boss fight. I wonder if I can still cheese it by camping in the corner where I can forget about the tombstone and only worry about having to leap over cats. Yup, the method still works. The cracks are beginning to show themselves once again, from the looniest phase transitions to relearning the odd boss patterns. I can't pop the witch's bubbles, so I attempt a weird dash that didn't pan out the way I planned, then eventually suffer my first loss of the run. Thank goodness permadeath isn't a thing anymore. Upon retry, I relearned that Enchanted Portals has a defend button, and that only the green buttons drop ooze on me. I keep applying my barrier when needed, and soon enough shoot down the witch, knocking her into the pot that she becomes one with. At first I thought I had this in the bag, but then... Okay. Yeah, my memory served me wrong. I thought it was going to be easy to double jump and dash over her, but I did get an opening to fire a ton of magic while chilling on the right side, and I was lucky enough to have my magic meter fill up just in time to activate turbo mode, which enhances my attacks, melting the witch inside her cauldron. Oh, I mean exploding the witch in her cauldron. Wait, she is melting. These PowerPoint cutscenes make no sense. I forgot I was even transformed into a skinny kid. Well, would you look at that? The aliens are here.
I think I heard a whoosh.
Nope, Emmett, you heard nothing. Just a lame loading screen and aw yeah, the invisible wall. Gotta love this game's invisible walls. Next piece of improvement, they gave instructions on how to negate the laser wall. How about I show you a game that's actually polished called Infinity Nikki that's getting a version 2.0 update. It's the dress-up open-world game with gliding, domains, challenges, dungeons, and 2.0 is adding new stuff like a grappling hook, the ability to change sizes, and partnering with battle companions. Archery is the core of the new combat experience, featuring unique energy charge and shield-breaking systems that enable flexible, skill-based battles. You gotta check out the boss battles and new maps, including Elderwood Forest, a jungle full of giant plants, and Spira, a quirky snail shell cabin where vibrant landscapes, mysteries, and stories are waiting to be uncovered. You'll experience a freer, more immersive, and more surprising open world. In the new story content, Nikki now enters the new world physically instead of through a soul transfer. Not only is that amazing, but multiple new outfits are being added, like these 2 commercial 5-star outfits. One set is Roman style, Born Flawless, which has the ability to use archery. The other set is Arba style, Behind the Prayers, which can use a grappling hook. There's also free ones being added, including 1 free 5-star outfit, a free 5-star set of clothes, and 3 free 4-star outfits in the Heart of Infinity. So click my link in the description to download Infinity Nikki for free, and a big thanks to them for sponsoring this video. It's still stupid that's all the melee attack is for, and I'm starting to remember why I disliked this game so much when I played it for the first time a couple years ago. It wasn't just that it was broken, it's also got very derivative stage hazards. Apparently the devs have rebalanced the platforming segments of each level. That is according to their fancy schmancy trailer. I don't remember this ever being a core issue though. Insane mode's kinda feeling like normal mode just without the hearts. Don't misunderstand me. I don't want to spend any more time playing this than I have to. Hold up, I take that back. It's another invisible wall. Invisible wall, we love an invisible wall.
Do you mind?
I'll have more to say about the aliens in a bit. For now, enjoy me getting frustrated with the controls. Gosh, why am I skating on ice? Gosh. Zip. Oh, okay, that was stupid. Upon reviewing my first Enchanted Portals video, I complained about how there was too much going on with seemingly no purpose or design in mind. They must have heard my complaint because now there are no enemies at all during the minefield segment. This isn't what I meant when suggesting fixes, and mind you, this is on insane difficulty. Once again, why am I complaining? It's not like I was dying to come back to this. Big alien computer, get out of my way and show me the fairest cow of them all. I have a superb memory, so I know what to expect. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's okay. That was a joke. Calm down, cow lady. It was a joke. Believe it or not, there is a method to the madness here. Somewhat. The hardest part about the first phase were the lasers firing from the alien-piloted UFOs. All I needed to do was use the jank in my favor. Watch this glide. Oh my gosh, I don't know what super move that was. We then take a short dance break. Yes, I meant the word break, since this part is easy, just strafing left and right while singing Michael Jackson's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. The final phase was when I needed to lock back in. Well, not now. Let's fast forward past the UFOs and ray gun being the only attacks. I lost to the cow's Cyclops laser beam because I thought my hat didn't count as a hurt box. Why did I think this? Oh, I don't know. I'll put my differences aside with the inconsistencies by just floating near the bottom of the screen, only having to avoid the ray gun and UFO's bullets. That is, until the udders let loose, and another laser appears at the bottom of the screen, leading to my utter destruction. Get it? Utter destruction. Ugh, I have to start over every time. Okay, so here's the plan. I needed to make it through the first phase without getting hit. If I ever did get hurt, I'd start over. Plus, I'd prioritize taking out the UFOs to ensure my safety. And I'm pretty sure the fire magic does more damage. Who knows? The game doesn't explain anything. About 10 minutes later, I was facing the cattle cyborg at full health, but soon realized I needed to position myself near the bottom. Not all the way down, Andrew. At this point, all I looked at was myself and treated it like a bullet hell, only focused on dodging while hanging on to the shooting button. I turned on the turbo when my meter was full, yet knew I couldn't last forever, but the defeat screen showed up in time for our heroes to open up another portal to the Aztecs' land. Ah, yes. Nothing like the sweet reward of an invisible wall. Even though I'm still in awe at these disappearing PNGs of monkeys, I just noticed the mosquitoes have straws for noses. That's not new, but I admittedly find that creative. I'm trying to look at the bright side of life, guys. And I don't know if you remember, but I recall the mosquito infestation being much more out of control than this. Here's a reminder. Yeah, it was pretty bad. On normal mode too. Now insane mode feels like a walk in the park. Hello, gators. Thank you for letting me pass peacefully. What if I wanted to turn around and revisit them though? Well, you can't because of an invisible wall. Like the video for invisible walls, everyone. It looks like the inside of the temple is making up for the lack of mosquitoes outside with a plethora of green fireballs. Man, I hate these controls. Here's an OP strat if you ever find yourself playing this abomination because you hate yourself. When you fall, steer right with your joystick to maneuver your portal past as many obstacles as you can. It's only fair for putting up with this nonsense. The green fire was the real struggle here. I could dash past the snakes and slide past the spears, but combine those with the flames and you've got yourself a tricky situation that you just need to brute force through sometimes. Thus, I always keep moving because time is of the essence. I gotta take advantage of the couple seconds of invincibility I receive after each hit, which I for one consider a welcome addition to the game. I keep jumping, then dashing underneath the heat and make it out of the temple to fish some crab for dinner tonight. To my surprise, the triple jump came in really handy during this skirmish. If you don't know what I mean, if you dash after a double jump, you can then jump again. Actually, I never used it again in this fight after the first one, because the hermit shockingly has a low amount of HP. All I did was repeatedly double jump when the sandfish, the cannonfish, the coconut tree, and the seagull all tried to hit me. Yet this little spot in front of the boss kept me safe. Being blasted into the ocean, I was sure the octopus was going to be more troublesome. To my delight, it wasn't. And similar to the crab, the mollusk didn't have a whole lot of hit points. However, I did experience the classic mess-ups due to not recalling anything from over 2 years ago. Yeah, I'll definitely have to do this over. But before you know it, we got him! Unfortunately, the ghost of oceans past gets the best of me since I'm unable to turn around in this game, resulting in me taking the fall to Davy Jones' locker. My confidence was at an all-time high though. I mean, the first two thugs got no gonads to hold their own, and all I really needed to beat the crabby Casper was to make it to the third phase without taking any damage. I said without taking damage! Oh, another notable improvement from the update is the spring shows a crack in the sand before popping up. Everywhere I go, I no longer see his face. Oh boy, so much for the plan.
There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
While being disappointed I couldn't pop the pufferfish, I suddenly realized part of my plan actually stayed intact, saving the turbo power for this guy. I didn't know if it would be enough though. I was getting swarmed again, damage down to my last life. I did it! I took out the crab, yet somehow got caught in a science experiment. I've been purposely skipping over most of the cutscenes to not inflict myself with a brain aneurysm. You know the best remedy for that though? Oh yeah, an invisible wall.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Remember how at the beginning of the video I said this game is now playable? Well, that turned out to be a negative for this video. There is nothing exciting, nothing worth mentioning, nothing strange at all about this run and gun section. It's been fixed. Thus, it's kind of boring to share with you all. Kind of surprising how a positive can become a negative. Let me remind you how it was when I last played it. Oh, splendid. Every time I shoot, my character also dashes against my will. I am only pressing the shoot button. Maybe I'll just never shoot. Yeah, that can work. I'm doing it now, aren't I? I can do this. I'm going to break everything within a 5-foot radius of me. I guess being less angry is better for my health. So... yeah, the cave has been nerfed too. Take this frog bear, for example. It sucks at life. Actually blows, but that's inappropriate, but it's blowing bees right over my head. Version 1.0 wasn't so kind. I don't know what else to say. That's it. Even the frog is confused why we passed so easily. Never mind that. We've got a princess to stop. Initially, my encounter with royalty is going well, and it seems like same old, same old. Those pesky flying frogs do know just when to drop their vials, and I need to not sit on the left where the normies spawn in. Then when I'm stuck at a lily pad's edge, I triple jump to reset my position. The spoiled brat loses her patience and forces a frog to kiss her without his consent to devolve into an amphibian.
Oh, it's disgusting! Guards! Guards!
I want her locked up in the dungeon. It feels like much more is going on during this part. A frog prince takes lily pads, I have to keep an eye on the skies, and the girl punches me with her tongue, literally. To adapt, I slide under the winged beasts with a dash, then hop back up on the backs of one of the dragonflies until the princess is fed up and dives into the pond. This is where I began failing a lot. Insane difficulty was properly tuned up here, with hazards that are avoidable, but it's gonna take a few tries to learn the patterns. The combination of vials being dropped and a frog fairy casting flowers to appear overwhelmed me to say the least. I'd get scared that the princess was going to get me with one of her kisses, but that would take my eyes away from the top. I was all over the place in the worst way possible, and I clearly needed to improve my gameplay during phase 2, since I'd often die there as well. I did deduce in the final part that her kisses only elevate straight up, so I could position myself next to her. With that newfound hope, I still could only make it to the 3rd phase with 1 to 2 lives left. But this time, I knew where to blast my turbo fire, now knowing I could stay down low near the princess. Not gonna lie, I feel like I got pretty lucky this attempt with the petals falling just right. I would prioritize my survival when needed, and aim diagonally downward to thwart the princess's appearances. This was the hardest boss so far, yet I still conquered the kingdom and proceeded to the next world. Yeehaw, the Wild West! And you know what's cheesier than those old Wild West movies? My playthrough of this world. I am so gosh darn happy to report that we will breeze through these next few levels. Frankly, after that last battle, these birds riding a bull were no problem. What I'm showing right now is my 2nd try versus them. As you can see, I simply weaved left and right with a bit of variation going up and down to avoid bullets. Then they switched roles carrying the bull. It got even easier because all I had to do was float above the cactus and move left and right yet again, dodging the needles, bullets, and eagle. I hardly had to shift up and down. I think I deserve something for my accomplishment. The very last invisible wall. We had some good times together, but now our time has come to an end in the streets of the city. Nothing new from the update to mention here. I lost a few times due to my impatience, because I just know how close I am to the end game now. I eventually slowed down my pace and made it past the chicken mafia with a few bruises along the way. Chicken Johnny Bravo, I have returned.
baby.
And apparently standing off to the side here has not been patched. I happily hop in place to maximize my damage output while avoiding his mirror blasts, challenge him in a suit of old school armor by standing in the middle and triple jump when his cavalry trots across. And one thing they did fix was I wasn't affected by anything during a phase transition. Yeah, a couple years ago you could die here and there was nothing you could do about it. Anyhow, the dinosaur stampede didn't differ from the previous version, and Johnny reverted back to an egg.
Yeah, whatever.
The last world was upon us, and it was a gauntlet of 3 bosses in a row starting with Beethoven. I swear, nothing is different with this finale compared to normal difficulty, besides no hearts being dropped from the cat later on, which I'll get to. For now, I deplete Ludwig van Beethoven of his low health, chase the final boss through a portal, and watch this doghouse blow up with no lag like there used to be. It still is a total PowerPoint presentation though. I made some noob mistakes, such as forgetting the dogs circle back when they run off, but I did avoid everything else nicely. I can't believe I claimed this thunder bubble was unavoidable in my original video. Maybe it wasn't, I don't know. If it could be evaded, I was stirred up in so much rage back then that I didn't care. I just wanted the experience to be done with. Either way, the Cerberus boss fight is a short one and the finale begins. The screen is about to be flooded with shenanigans, but there's no need to worry. A camping spot is right in this corner. Every boss I've faced from this horrendous game makes an appearance in some way, form, or fashion and tries to stop me from reaching the end. Luckily for me, only 2 foes' attacks are within range. The witch's cat and Chicken Johnny Bravo's mirror beams, which make contact with me once. I persevere with a constant jumping whilst changing my spells to match the color of the book until the screen shatters, turning me into a squirrel, and then this happens. My bad. It won't happen again. I promise. I plow through the musician and put a shock collar on the canines without taking any damage, then watch out for the falling, exploding acorns when rematching the tree, for the most part. Other squirrels join in on the action, blowing up upon impact too. Are they trying to make a rip-off card game of exploding kittens too? Thankfully, the dust clouds do me no harm and the screen shatters once again, revealing a magician along with her elemental assistants, Fire, a fan blower, and Ice Slay. I don't plan to win this first go-around with them. I need to be reminded of what everyone and everything does. Needless to say, I lost. Then came straight back to them with a good amount of health. Really, the only threat is the sleigh. Candlestick is doing who knows what over there, and the fangirl's shots are consistent. To keep myself safe, I utilized the power of triple jump over the blue reindeer and green wind blasts. I kept the fire coming at the wizard girl, and yeah, it's over. That's the key to winning it all. It looks like I'm jumping like a maniac, but I assure you it's all handled with care. We revert that book back to its original pages, feel kinda bad for it after seeing how abusive Bobby and Penny are, rewatch the cutscene, PowerPoint, of the unexplained wizard coming back home, and 2 years later we finally get to see what the book has been up to. Having beaten the final boss on insane mode, I've truly 100%ed Enchanted Portals this time, which only 0.9% of players have done, by the way, and am ready to 100% the new book DLC, on insane mode of course. 2 books are shown, one being titled Dungeons and Animals, and the other How to Paint in 10 Hours. I started with the D&D group. Okay, cool intro, I guess. It's gonna take more than a couple flashy poses to best me, though. Let me just camp away in my corner. What the? Did they actually learn and make the sides dangerous places to be? Alright, I get it. I just have to position myself about a quarter way in of the arena. Then I can proceed to spam magic and beat these nerds. Some improvisation was needed, most of which screwed me over if I'm being honest, but I'm sure I got this in the bag. The 4 warriors pull out their gems, summoning a beam for each of them, and the table wizard is now a lion. Okay, buddy, a penguin soldier from Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's time to
Gosh dang it. I didn't know it then, but this was no joke the hardest boss fight in the entire game. They don't look like much, but let me tell you, there is strength in numbers, especially when each of these men have their own signature attacks that put me in a kerfuffle. I spent over 40 minutes battling these guys. Getting past the second phase took up a third of that time. The strategy I took a liking to was hopping over anyone right as they attacked. Sometimes that option wasn't the most optimal though, because of the lion's lightning ball of magic that forced me into the corner, which we know is a bad place to be. Admittedly, it was my fault getting trapped in those scenarios. I just hope I can figure out a better method of facing them next time after I assuredly died during phase 3. The lion wizard doesn't look all too different, but the penguin rides atop an ice block now, the eagle is now a phoenix, and the ninja chucks coins. I'm a dead man. I'm gonna have to pull out a move I haven't used since the first boss, the block button. Ah crap, bad timing. Wow, I'm really bad at this. It needs to be used as a last resort. I gotta rely on my own skills, but then when I don't know what to do, bam, defend. That a boy, Bobby. I keep firing, I keep retreating, I keep jumping. I ain't out of this one yet. Shake it big, Bobby. It's been 7 minutes since I first took on phase 3, and I still have no idea what to do. Saving turbo for this moment was smart though, right? Well, it won't save me from double jumping here. It's just not safe to do during the third part due to the Phoenix and Thundaga magic. The good news is I've got phase 2 down to a T and can enter the third phase at full HP. However, I still couldn't brute force my way through the enhanced Neopets, but I was getting a lot more practice against them. Was it amounting to anything though? Ah! Oh my gosh. 36 minutes have passed. I'm done. Here's the one where I beat them, and I ain't fast forwarding it either to prove I actually did it. If I had to suffer playing through this, then you can at least watch me beat it. I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert. I simply just kept rematching until I beat them. Wasn't thinking it through. Just thought if I kept doing it over and over again, I would eventually get a run lucky enough to end this. Okay, the fight is still going on, so I'll point out one key thing I did that made a difference. Single jumping. Yup. As we saw earlier, double jumping was a big no-no with all the danger here. So often I performed one jump, then dashed away past the madness, and dashing under the rabbit was a sly move too. Then to my dismay, I found out it wasn't over. There was another phase. Please, end my suffering. They've gone from D&D characters to a Power Ranger Megazord. But wait, there's hope. The polymorphed being's attacks are slow. My past self.
He's beginning to believe.
What if I did this first try? What if I did this first try? What if I did this first try? What if I did this? At this point, I was starting to believe the next boss that is titled How to Paint in 10 Hours was actually going to take 10 hours. I was already in the red going into phase 3, but then something happened. My deflects were on point. My moves were immaculate. Just watch this perfection. Oh my gosh, that was a perfect shield. I was doing it! My spacing, even with double jumps. My blocks! I had made it back to the medieval giant in just 2 tries. And now that I know he slices his sword when casting ice on the floor, I stay back. His moves were indeed slow. You're watching fast-forwarded footage for crying out loud, and it still looks sluggish. His attacks were very telegraphed. I could tell what was coming next. I always jumped in between the 2 icicles when they appeared. Could I pull this off? Turbo. You're dead? No? Yes! How to paint in 10 hours. Here he comes, the painter with the big paintbrush. And there's falling clocks that I'm guessing reference the title of the boss. In the background, paintings come to life and break apart into falling blocks. I'll admit, this is a somewhat creative boss, but I'm also so demoralized by the previous boss that I don't even give a crap. Just kill me, will ya? The chair must be part of the painter since it's part of his hitbox. And wowie zowie, look at that artwork. That's going on the thumbnail.
They just can't get my nose right.
Say, what a magnificent pair of bananas. Oh, great heavens!
Oh my goodness. Well, I not only survived that monstrosity, but I also made it to the next part. Now I'm floating on paint tubes. Is this easier than Dungeons and Animals? No, it can't be. There's gotta be some sneak attack coming after these colorful swirls. I'm probably going to double jump into it right as it drops down from the ceiling. I'm waiting. Definitely made it farther on my first attempt than I ever did. Oh, what? Oh. And that's how I 200%ed Enchanted Portals. So what do I think of this Cuphead Rip-off after the update?
What do you think?
It's trash.